On section E, which is on page 7, it's talking about naming carboxylic acid derivatives. And it says that there are salts, anhydrides, esters, and acyl halides, amides, and nitriles. Salts and esters are the most important. And I mentioned ether a moment ago, which is a derivative of an alcohol, I guess, as opposed to a carboxylic acid. And we'll get that covered here in just a moment, too. So first off, with the salt of a carboxylic acid, let's say we've got this carboxylic acid here, 2, 3. This is going to be propanoic acid. I don't know what I'm doing. And it says that, hey, we already talked about how that carboxylic acid is always going to be on the first carbon. Well, let's suppose instead of having a hydrogen here, let's suppose that we have a salt. And in this case, we're going to have another alkane chain on there instead. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our oxygen. There's our... Do you see how these are the exact same structure in between these two? But instead of having a hydrogen coming off of that, let's put a ethyl group here. So there's 1, 2 carbons. So that's be an ethyl group. This is what it's talking about in those instructions when it says the cation. Because this cation, this would behave as a cation, similar to how the hydrogen would come off. When the hydrogen comes off, it has a H+. So when this came off, this would actually be a carbon with a positive charge on it, and then it would have CH2, CH3. If that came off, that would be our cation, CH2, CH3. So this is actually a what's called an acetate. No, not an acetate. It's a... Dang, why can't I think of the name of it? I forget the name of it. Man, I'm getting old. Oh, well, anyway. I just read it a moment ago, didn't I? So, this is the salt of it. Well, anyway, this would not end in propanoic acid. We would name it with our, in this case, it'd be, there's our propanoic acid section down here. So this would be propanoate. But we would start that with our cation, which in this case was ethyl. So that would be ethyl propanoate. Sorry about the ringing there. Tried to wait for it. So that's our cation, ethyl propanoate. So if we had this creature, let's go to another one here. Here. All right, and that was strung onto an oxygen, which was part of a carboxylic acid here. And we just got a regular cyclohexane chain there. Same thing would happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's benzoic acid. So instead of being benzoic acid, you see this is our cation that would be on it. So this would be benzoate. I said butanoate. Man, I'm having a day. And we've got our cyclohexyl over here. Cyclohexyl butanoate. That's how that would be named. Once again, the part that's single bonded to the oxygen would be named first, and then the rest of it would be named second. Now, we would also follow conventions if we had some substituents on there, but that starts getting pretty nitpicky with what we're talking about right now.